we've been declined access this year for the first time on the grounds that we're not a financial institution. Now, I would have said that was a good thing, but because we're not a financial institution, we apparently don't need the privileged access which we have had in the past. And so, I have personally objected to this because we're now going to find ourselves in the very odd situation where overseas investors reading the analysis from Bloomberg or from ANZ who are in the room will be better informed than workers because they won't have had access to the information.
Right.
Why? We won't have access to the Treasury officials to ask them, what does this mean? We won't be able to put out a press release because we won't have read the books. So the press will be reporting the information that is provided to the financial institutions who might have very different incentives or views to, say, the trade union movement. So, and it's a really odd, very anti-democratic thing where we're taking away the ability of civil society to talk to the public about things that mean things to them, like how much money is the government borrowing? What does its tax take look like? What do they think interest rates are going to be? What is unemployment going to be? How much money are they spending on health, education, housing? We won't have access to any of that information until everyone else does. And so as a consequence, we won't be able to talk to journalists and to the public meaningfully when that information becomes public.
I think the question was asked, I haven't previewed this, so I'm sorry if it's wrong, but it's only 60 seconds, and I think this is the Prime Minister being asked about you. Let's just have a listen.
Craig Renney has had his application to go to the HYEFU briefing declined by Treasury. Did Treasury give you a heads up on that decision, and do you support it?
Yes and yes.
Why?
For two reasons. One, the purpose of the lockup is ultimately for the media to get advance notice of really important financial information so they can process it, digest it and communicate it clearly to New Zealanders. Craig Renney is not a member of the media. We have traditionally also invited financial institutions who have market-sensitive audiences who also require time to digest that information. Neither is he part of that. I have been advised that both Craig Renney and the Taxpayers Union will no longer be attending the lockup. I'd also just say, last time Craig Renney went to a lockup, he made up a...
Can I just say, I don't know what she's about to say, but the fucking attitude. She might as well do that. Last time, it's almost like a skit. Sorry, what'd you get to the end?
Last time Craig Renney went to a lockup.
Sorry, Chewie.
I was just going to say, like, without knowing what she's going to say, it's almost like last time Craig Renney was at the lockup, he ate all the muffins, and then there were no muffins for anybody else. And when I sat down on a chair, he made it sound like I made a fart noise, and I didn't fart at all.
Let's just have a listen. Yeah, I don't get the attitude. Like it's kind of real Mean Girls, kind of, clicky. It's weird from a finance minister.
Is he part of that? I have been advised that both Craig Renney and the Taxpayers Union will no longer be attending the lockup. I'd also just say, last time Craig Renney went to a lockup, he made up a false quote and attributed it to me, and I don't believe that that is practice consistent with the privilege of attending a lockup.
All right. So you're being slapped over the wrist for what? Do you have any idea what she's talking about? What's the fake quote and stuff?
So we put out this was the financial statements of government. We put out a press release, and immediately afterwards, the financial statements of government, and we attributed a quote to Nicola, which due to a formatting error had a wrong number in it. It was her words. It was just the wrong number. We then, when we were told about it, we changed it, and we, on the press release, told everyone else that we had made an error, and this was the correct press release to use. There's no conspiracy. We weren't deliberately trying to mislead anyone. There's enough information in the government documents for us to be able to say lots of things without us needing to mislead. Yeah. And it's not in anyone's interests for us to mislead anyone. So this is just simply, to me, this is just another excuse for a reason why we're not allowed in the lockup. And it also, in the advice that was given to me by the Treasury as to why I was not allowed in the lockup, that certainly wasn't a factor in any of the advice they gave to me. It was about
do
the fact
you-
that we're not a financial institution and we're not a member of the journal, the gallery journalists. Bearing in mind, we've had non-government organisations in the half-year economic and fiscal update for as long as we've had half-year economic and fiscal updates. And it's not as if it's a full room. I can tell you, they use a large room at the Treasury, and half the seats are empty. So it's not a space issue. It's not an electricity issue. It's not a cost issue. They don't
Not
put
a
on
muffin
tea
issue.
and coffee. There's nothing else. It's just simply they have chosen to take people who, for example, we may disagree with the taxpayers union a lot, but they're perfectly entitled to be able to look at the books and make decisions themselves and to be able to say things to their constituency. We may disagree with Business New Zealand, but they've got a perfectly legitimate ability to talk to businesses. Both of those organisations now would not be able to access that lockup. Child Poverty Action Group wouldn't be able to access that lockup. Tax Justice Aotearoa Action Station, a whole wide range of entities will now not be able to access the lockup, and for reasons we don't understand, because to us it's quite clear we're there to digest information so that when this becomes public, we're able to say what this means for working people and what the perspective of working organisations are for the budget and of the government books. It's
Okay,
just a bit strange.
A couple of things. I have a solution for you. Craig, would you please do some media reporting on behalf of our business at Big Hairy News? Would you please be a Big Hairy News reporter and then your media? And the other thing I was going to say is if honestly people are being kept out of things for quote unquote misleading, this whole government needs to kind of get rid of themselves in, because hello, misleading every single day.
Well, I was going to say, if any organisation who's had a formatting error is blocked from the Treasury lockup, we're going to be blocking a lot of people.
Yeah.
So there's a real risk here that actually we're doing something without really thinking through the consequences of it, because what we will have is a lot less information and a lot less transparent analysis of what's in the government's books when the books are released. And that doesn't help anyone. That doesn't help you. That doesn't help the New Zealand public.